Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to our first soft focus Saturday video. It's not coming out on Saturday, but that's okay. We'll just go with the punches. So these videos are meant to go over just research that I've been going. It's gonna be kind of rabbit hole-y. I'm not gonna lie. So if you like going through your own metaphysical research and really trying to dig deep into why things are the way they are, then this is going to be for you. Because this is kind of the place that where any research that I've done on an academic level or even just on a personal level, this is where I'm going to come talk about it. And it's going to be a trip. So this week, what's been messing with my head for a couple of weeks now. So every once in a while, my husband and I try to have a pattern where we get equal rest time. He gets Saturdays to go out as long as he wants and do whatever, and I watch kids. And then I get Sundays. And the first Sunday I've had in a while, I went to Starbucks, tried to get my drink, my typical drink, which is a caramel apple spice cider. And I sat down with all of my books. I look like a crazy lady sitting at a table by myself because I like to spread out. And I have my human design books, my emotion code book, and I'm sitting there reading through the human design book written by Rahu Ra. Excuse me. And a thought came to mind while I was reading through. Excuse me. So, the conjuncture of the universe, according to human design, is that everything was in a crystalline state at first. And then when the Big Bang occurred, that's when all of the crystals throughout the universe that it was made of throughout the Milky Way, exploded and just went everywhere. And every human being has 3 crystals. Has a designed crystal that is given to them 88 degrees prior to their birth. A magnetic monopole, which is our manifesting center. Everything is attracted to that. And a personality crystal, which is given to us as soon as we exit the womb. That's why the time of your birth when it comes to human design is so very important, because it right as soon as you leave the womb. That time of your birth, that's the moment you get your personality. That's the moment you get the personality crystal. And the way it's meant to work is the design crystal is the driver. The magnetic monopole is like the engine of the car that's driving you forward. And the design crystal knows where you're going. But that's an unconscious part of your body. And the moment you come out and get the personality crystal thinks, I'm the driver, I know where I'm going, but really you're just a passenger. And you're in a limo, you can't speak to the design crystal, you don't even know it's there. You don't even know the magnetic monopole's there. You're just here for the ride. So we have this constant bickering between the personality side and the design side. Because the design side says, actually, this is where you're going. And the personality says, well, I'm here by myself. On my crown. Up at the crown. Because the design crystal and the magnetic monopole are further down in your body. So I'm steering the way. When really, no, you're not. You're just a thought process. because the personality crystal lives up there. And the whole time I'm reading through this, okay, it's reading about how the world used to be this big old crystalline structure, I'm thinking of something that I did a couple years ago about the goddess Ananke. She's a Greek goddess who is said to take on her and Kronos, god of time, not the Titan, not with a C, Kronos with a K. Her and Kronos were supposed to be responsible for the big crunch, according to Greek mythology. So what the big crunch is that before anything ever existed, Ananke and Kronos were supposed to be here. And the universe was an egg. And Ananke and Kronos, as snakes, wrapped themselves around the egg, and together the big crunch occurred, which is when they cracked the egg. And when it further broke apart was the Big Bang. That's when everything finally left the egg. But this is what's tripping me up. According to human design, and a lot of different sources from what I've been finding, we are still, the universe hasn't been birthed yet. Okay? We are still gestating. We are still fetuses, according to human design. And our universe has not been birthed yet. This is gonna follow a lot of what ifs, so just follow me down this rabbit hole. If we have the big crunch, which is what I'll consider, let's say the fertilizing of the universe. That's what Ananke and Kronos did. They copulated, big crunch happened. And the Big Bang happened. And that's when full conception, full morphing from just an egg, from just an embryo, into a fetus occurred. We skipped the zygote part. Maybe the zygote part was when the crunch happened and it morphed the egg a little bit. The universe is a fetus. And it has expanded. And that's when all the design crystals and everything from the egg went out. And that's how everybody has received their monopoles. Their monopole, their design crystal, and their personality crystal, according to human design. But it didn't just happen to our universe. All of these crystals are supposed to have gone everywhere. And that's how we've created our stars. And that's how come we receive neutrinos, which is smaller than a proton. It's 1/1,000,000th the weight of a proton, I want to say. You might have to look that up to double check me. And it moves slower than a proton. But it's still a unit of energy. Those have gone everywhere. We receive 70% of our neutrinos, except for when there's solar flares. We receive more. We receive 70% of these from the sun, because it's our closest celestial body. And the rest of the other 30% are across the universe at other celestial bodies. What if first these neutrinos and where we receive information from, that is how we receive psychic information? What that first? What if that tells us how we receive energetic, emotional, and psychic information the best? Depending on where you draw your neutrinos from and that information from, because your human design chart, your crystals are all different. Doesn't matter if someone was born on the same day, same time, all of that is you. You will still be slightly different. And you will be your own unique thing, which is why every person is unique in their own way. So what if how your chart is, that tells you how you will receive information as a psychic? And then on top of that, because we have, according to these theories, the universe has not been birthed yet. We're still gestating. We're still growing. And we have the information that in a few thousand years, whenever that'll happen, our sun will become a supernova. It will die. Or it will crash into another oncoming celestial star. And it will die. And our planet will be gone, most likely, after we have all died. What if the information we're receiving from all these neutrinos, what if it is psychic information that we have received as to what we will evolve into? So, starseeds. All these planets like Arcturian and all of that. That we say that these are celestial beings that are out there. What if it's not just a celestial being? What if it is the future evolution of ourselves that we are just receiving information about? And the media, what we depict as aliens, I think of Signs or any books that involve aliens. How we depict them. They look unrecognizable to a human, which is why we call them alien. Because all that means is you're different. It's not something familiar. What if we are just seeing a future version of ourselves? And when the universe is birthed, we'll have evolved to the point that we won't be on this planet anymore. You know, assuming that we all come to our senses and learn to work together. We'll see. What if we are seeing a future version of ourselves? And so we will see in a further life. So for example, I'm Arcturian, according to the Starseed. I'm not indigo and all of that. I'm an Arcturian. What if that is a future version of myself? And the way that your design crystals are supposed to work is that they're there. Your personality crystal comes in when you are born. I haven't discovered yet. Let me know in the comments if you know any more about this. What if our design crystal, personality crystal, and our magnetic monopole, when we die and our physical form is gone, move on again, and that would explain reincarnation. Oh, we feel like some people are exactly like others that have left because they are almost eerily similar. It's enough to make you ponder, right? And I'm not big on conspiracy theories. I'm because a lot of them I feel like, hey, you're just reaching. But now I can understand how you get into it. Because if you have so much focus on something, like I've had such a focus on human design, and I've been really digging into what purpose. It's that little flame that lights a fire under your ass. Yeah. Trying to figure out purpose. Because I like enjoying figuring out how things tick. It's my design. I'm sorry. This rabbit hole appeared. Because I'm like, if we are seeing the future version of ourselves, of course it's going to look alien. Of course it's going to look different because it doesn't look like us as of this moment. Same thing as if we go to a museum, at least my mind goes to how different they look. And I know all the tiny little differences. And I try to figure out what they were trying to convey at the time with their clothes and their writing and things like that. Because I like to dig into detail like that. I like characterization. So for this soft focus Saturday, I'm thinking, what happens if we follow this rabbit hole of what if, because we are still a universe gestating, a universe still growing, and we are expanding, the Milky Way is expanding. And of course, it would be selfish for us to believe that we are the only things of creation that occurred after the Big Bang. It would be incredibly selfish and egotistical that the universe saved all that special energy just for our planet. It's happened. What if we're just following down the multiverse hole and seeing what we will look like? And all of these angels and ancestors and things like that we get thoughts of that come in. What if all of that is just future versions of ourselves? Or it is other celestial bodies that are available now, but we have not accepted our design enough to make contact. Because there is a new age happening in 2027, according to human design. There's going to be a shift in consciousness again, like there was in the 1700s when we moved from a 7-centered being into a 9-centered being, and we got the solar plexus and the spleen that split, and we got the heart center that split with the G center. Because that was the age that manifestors ruled, right? If you were a manifestor during that time period, you were the knees of the bees. But then in the 1700s, which my history is like leaving my brain right now. I want to say that's the Age of Enlightenment, but I need to double check that. No, 1700s. That's before the... it's about the Age of Enlightenment, before the Industrial Revolution. We had to morph into a more of a thinking being, which is why manifestors aren't as powerful now. And we got the creation of a projector as a profile, which is why prior to the 1700s, we didn't have projectors. Projectors have kind of taken over. So, what if that happens and we have a new type coming? Now, we can't ask Ra Uhura, the person who created the human design, because he's dead, unless someone pulls out a Ouija board. But it is something to ponder. And this has been on my mind all week. Like, what do I do with this information? What do I do with this question? Because a lot of Starseed information, it's just all light worker stuff. It's not how my brain thinks. Is like, I want a description of every single type of starseed, and I want to break them down. And then I want to cross-reference it with human design and see if it matches any of the profiles or any of the right angle, left angled paths. I want to cross-reference that with chakras and maybe psychological diagnosis and stuff like that. I can't do that. If you have resources for how I can do that for Starseeds, someone has a for sure reference book that goes over every single type of starseed, I want to be able to go through it. I haven't found one, and it's kind of frustrating. It's hard being a nerd and not being able to do this. But that's the thought that I have this week, and it sent me for a loop. If you have further thoughts on this, I would love to hear them. Pop them in the comments, please, or pop them in the Facebook group. If you like this kind of video where I tell you what my thoughts are for the week, feel free to like and subscribe. I would love for you to do that. And I'll see you next week for another rabbit hole. For this upcoming week. And try not to go too crazy out there with pondering over things. Have a wonderful day. Bye.